Hi, it's Katrina and Val with Chinta Relief, and just a little tidbit on why we chose to call our channel Chinta is that in the Hindi word for anxiety is Chinta. So instead of calling it what it is, we're going around it, and we don't want to focus on the actual word because we're trying to create the relief within that. So there's a little tidbit on why we chose that. So today, anyway, again, my name is Katrina and this is Val, and we have Aaron with us today, and we're gonna get a little bit deeper in this and kind of almost have a back and forth conversation in our beliefs and sets of how we think
we relieve anxiety in our lives.
Yeah, how we can relieve anxiety in our lives, for sure. So, Aaron, if you were to have a question in regards to lifestyle and balance, all of that, what would your question be for us today?
Definitely. My question for you guys, because last week or a week and a half ago, we talked a little bit about lifestyle and how anxiety affects it. But why do you guys really think it's so important to maintain an organization and maintain balance in your lifestyle to aid with relieving anxiety?
Good question.
Very good question. What would you think about that? Because I have definitely my thoughts for sure, but you would have a different feeling. Well, everyone will, but...
As to why? So that you can keep your anxiety under control. So I guess everyone's different. For me, I've learned lots of different ways to keep my anxiety under control, which for me was exuding more physical energy, which would be exercise, sports. Yeah, that's big for me, is just getting rid of any anxious energy through sports.
Yeah.
And exercise.
Yeah.
How about you? There's lots of other ways that I do, but that's just one that comes to mind right off the bat.
Well, more might stir up the pot as we're talking here.
Yeah.
I definitely, myself, for me, balance is kind of having a routine. When I wake up in the morning and having time to myself, I really make sure that I give myself a good amount of time to settle into my day. And because I'm a hairdresser, I give a lot of my energy out to others, that I always need to feel that I have given myself just as much love in the morning. So I get up, I relax, I have a coffee, and I slowly get ready, and when I arrive to work, I'm ready to go. Also, too, for when I'm done work and my work week is over, I always need to feel like I need to get back into nature. I need to go for a hike. I need to be amongst the water or amongst the trees. I know not everyone has that depending on where they live, but if there's some way that you can get your hands or feet into some dirt, there's a beautiful vibrational hold that it has on you, and it creates balance in your life.
What about bathing?
Yes,
Like bathing?
having a
Nothing
hot
like
bath.
a hot bath, right? With some essential oils and bath salts, and just try to relax in the tub for a while. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one.
It makes, when you get out, even just your muscles, the smells, like I always think that if you're gonna have anxiety, all the things around you are already overly stimulating. So it's creating an environment for yourself that is not so stimulating, and creating the calm. In your home, creating the calm.
Art of distraction. Do something that's very distracting. What would that be for you? What would you do if you got anxiety? What would be something you would do that would distract you from the mindset of anxiety?
I sometimes just start cleaning.
There's
I
always
really
shopping.
do. There's the shopping, but cleaning, there's a movement that goes with it. I turn on music. I just try to change the train of thought. Another thing that I really turn to for balance is I try to keep conversation in my day light. It can be a very heavy day with a lot of things that are going on in other people's lives. Being intuitive on myself, But yeah, creating just a proper balance from the time you wake up until you go to bed at night. And I'm not saying that you got to be this perfect person, but without the balance, more anxiety can come into your life. But yeah.
What's a trigger for you?
A trigger? Oh man, I have lots of them. Money triggers me if I feel stressed about money. And that can give me anxiety for days. Definitely physical health. Like if something's not working within my own body and I don't know why, that will trigger anxiety for me. Screaming and yelling in movies actually creates a lot of
Really?
anxiety.
Loud noises.
Loud noises, yeah.
Yeah.
So keeping
Funniest
things
things.
calm.
Yeah, the funniest things can trigger anxiety
Yeah.
at the weirdest times, right?
Yeah. What about you?
Honestly, I've sort of, and I don't mean this in a smart ass way, but I've kind of conquered a lot of my anxieties. I think it's because I'm older. But when I was younger, when I first got anxiety, I had no idea what was going on. I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to die right there. I was at a work in a bar. I got an anxiety attack and I threw my tray for my work and I went home and I phoned an ambulance because I was dying for sure. That was the first time I've ever had anxiety.
Yeah.
And they told me to go home and relax that I had anxiety. And I think I kind of did it on my own. I never told anybody about it because back in those times you didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice now that we get to talk about it. But I don't truly get a lot of anxiety now because I've trained myself by doing lifestyle things.
Balancing.
By
yourself.
balancing myself, knowing when I need to sleep, knowing those people that are kind of poison that I don't want around that create tension in my body,
Yes.
right? And also accepting those, everyone, just as they are.
Yep.
That's a hard one, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning because
Yeah,
you're younger.
totally.
I'm older, and it took me a lot of years to figure anxiety out.
Yeah.
Sucked up a lot of years of my life, though.
It's definitely not easy being able to try to recognize where the sources of anxiety come from.
Right?
Yes.
That is probably for even myself and people I've talked to too, one of the hardest things to do is actually know and admit to yourself, yeah, this is giving me stress. This is
Right.
making me feel overwhelmed.
Anxious.
Yeah.
And people sometimes just do not want to admit it. It's like they
Yeah.
want to lie to themselves to try to make it feel better. And it's
Yeah.
not good.
No.
Self-aware.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Being self-aware and conscious of not just what you're doing to yourself, but even to what you're doing maybe to other people because you're anxious about it.
Absolutely.
I swear, when people have anxiety and you learn to conquer it, you almost get a sixth sense.
when
You
you're
can.
around
I'll
it.
say to you, I'll go, there's just something about that person. I don't want to be around them because I know they're going to trigger something within me. And it's a tension. Everybody's anxiety is different.
Yes.
I don't know how you experience. I get like a tightness in my body, in my chest.
Yeah.
And I know I don't want it. So I just don't go there anymore.
Yep.
But I know a lot of people aren't there yet.
Yeah.
And it's a horrifying feeling, right?
Yeah.
So lifestyle, huge. You got to change your lifestyle.
Well, I think for sure
Eating.
too, like with different generations, like I'm in my later 30s, and when I was in my 20s, I was still really getting to know myself and what worked for me and what didn't work for me. So I spent a lot of my 20s very anxious and full of anxiety, to be honest. And I think it's when you can try to get as self-aware as you can, the better you can then understand what's happening with yourself. And I would say that my 30s have been my favorite because I've learned more that way so that I could be like, okay, do you know what? For instance, I could go shopping like for clothes. And am I doing this emotionally because I'm trying to cover up something that I'm feeling inside? Or is it because this is fun? Like I'm actually doing those questions now, where before I would be very impulsive and not question my actions. And I think that is another really good point to try to do that could help your anxiety is, why am I doing this right now? Start asking yourself, why? Is am I trying to cover something up with something that I'm doing in an action, whether it could be even substance abuse? People usually could use alcohol or smoking a joint or having a cigarette or going shopping or eating. Like, there's an emotional drive sometimes, not always, in why you want to do those things. So becoming more aware of your actions, I guess, really in a day. What?
I would urge people to truly slow down. Slow down, slow down, slow down every single thing you do in your life. Because we're going at 150 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. People are trying to keep up with everybody else and everything and what they think is meant that they're supposed to do. I think one thing, slow down and take inventory. Take your inventory as to your awareness of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing to create my own anxiety every day?
Yes.
Right?
Well, in lots of ways, and probably a lot of people don't want to hear this right now, but we are our own maker of our suffering.
That's for sure.
Our thoughts are what create our suffering, whether it's I'm too fat or I'm too ugly or I don't have a big enough house or this or that. Like, it's sometimes less is more. And really just getting back to the basics, and you really don't need a lot to survive in this world other than the clothes on your back, a roof over your head, and people that love you. So getting just back to what really matters, because we're going to be born and then we die, and that is just the reality of life. And that, to me, I think it scares a lot of people, and therefore it's always trying to stay away from that subject, and that subject is huge. So I think for sure our suffering comes from just creating it every day, just getting up in our head, and that could in itself help with your anxiety and your balance of your day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that there's certain little steps that we all could take. Like, we're talking about lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So could be your sleeping patterns, food.
Food is huge,
Exercise.
I think. Sorry to interrupt you.
Food is so big.
I think food is definitely a sugar. Sugar is a stimulant. Coffee, things that trigger all of those hyperactive energies in your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking charge of those things, eating, sleeping, self-awareness. We're working on it 24/7.
Yes.
Right? Every day is a new day. Wake up every morning and say, I get to take another breath today. Aren't I lucky?
It's pretty
Holy
amazing.
cow. If you really get a grip on that one, anxiety tends to start going away. Or when you get anxiety coming, say, man, aren't I lucky? I get to breathe again today. So a lot of people that die in their sleep every night, they never get a chance to have another breath. So just simple things like minding what you're eating. Even make a little booklet and write down, what did I eat today? What could I have gotten and not eaten today that would help my physical body feel better? Because anxiety is very physical, right? We think it's very physical. And exercise, sleeping, eating, and moving your body. Because your body gets full of the energy of the world. We take on energy. It's vibrational, and a lot of it's not all that good. So getting rid of it, I've been pounding weights for years. And I go there and I think nothing, but I'm giving it to the weights and I feel great when I leave. It saved my life, to be honest. So just some things to help with lifestyle, right? Because what do you think? I
think all of those things are 100%. But I will add, try to do one thing at a time. So if this week, let's just work on what you eat in a day. If you're someone that doesn't eat breakfast, eat a breakfast and try to get your vegetables, get your protein, get your carbs, and try to eat a balanced diet for that whole week, and then carry it off into the next week, and then maybe try to add in something that is either working out at the gym or going for a swim or going for a walk. But they're all subtleties that you need to slowly integrate into your life. It's something that you're not actually doing already. It takes 28 days for your brain to activate a habit. and for it to stay within your life as something that you just do when you wake up. So you gotta know that when you start one thing, you gotta continue it off to a place where you know that it will now become a habit and it's just something that you're gonna do, and then move on to the next thing, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself that, oh my God, my life is all out of balance, and giving yourself anxiety around it. So be kind to yourself, add things as you go, and just take it easy. It's not a race, and we all heal and move at a pace that works for ourselves. So listen to that. Listen to yourself. Care about yourself. Love yourself a little bit, because we're always, I think, forcing ourselves, and I think that in itself gives people anxiety, and being something that we're not. So just be yourself and like something about yourself every day.
Do something small with your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what it is that you need to change in your lifestyle, right? So something small every day adds up to something amazing in, say, a month. And it all helps with anxiety, believe me. Your diet, your sleep, how much you play and have fun and laugh. It makes a huge difference. So,
I would also add to that, if create a journal. Journaling the new things in your life and how they've made you feel. Because you can always revisit that if you forgot that, oh, that made me feel good. So what was it that made me feel good? So at least if you have journaled from the time you start changing a few things in your lifestyle, you know where you can pick up again if you've lost track, because we all do. We're all human, and it's, you know, a work in progress, I think, and it will be forever, and that's okay. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's under the heading of being mindful of who you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And journaling is a great idea for helping you to be mindful of your personality, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm very grateful for this channel, and even just this chat, because I think we can learn a lot from each other and what each other does. These kinds of conversations is something that we're going to kind of continue to have, and choose different subjects that we believe can be a manifestation of people's anxiety in their life. And we'll also definitely have other people on our channel that are more professional in the sense of what they deal with in their lives and their profession.
different types of anxiety, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it'd be really cool to hear from people little things that they do with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And with their health and their exercise programs, and tell us what you do, because it's really cool to learn new things about how to deal with anxiety. So,
This is a support channel, and we're creating it for everyone to share with each other, and for everyone not to feel alone. So the more we can share, the more we can create a support, and the more we can learn from each other, and the more we can better our lives every day. So I thank you, and
look forward to hearing from everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, and hit subscribe and hit
The bell.
and take care.
And see you soon.